hunt here was in Washington, Pennsylvania. I took my buddy Brandon Howard out on the last day of the 2018 Pennsylvania firearm season. Brandon had never shot a deer over 100 yards with a rifle. He always hunted in the mountains up where he grew up. And I decided I was going to take him in the field, so I let him use my 7mm mag, and I told him, I said, you might get a shot at 100 yards, but you might get a shot at 300 yards. We just don't know. You want to talk about a cold morning. We got up to the shooting bench, and I tell you what, we were freezing in the first hour. I mean, my teeth were chattering. Wind was blowing, but we were both patient, and we knew if we stuck it out, we'd see a couple deer. And sure enough, about 9 o'clock, out the ridge, the farthest shot possible, there were 3 does walking the ridge. So I told Brandon, I said, if you want to take a shot, man. I told him what crosshair to use on my rifle, so check it out and see what he did. Shoot a deer.
We're ready to shoot a deer.
2018, last day, Pennsylvania. Good shot, buddy. Pennsylvania, last day of the season. Good doe, Brandon.
Thank you.
About 250 yards, 7mm mag. Good job, buddy.
Thank you.
Let's go get her. Well, that was a perfect end to a real cold morning. Brandon made a perfect shot on that doe. Yeah, I think it was about 275 yards, ended up being. And he double lunged her, and it was perfect. And she didn't go very far. And it was sure nice to get out of that seat and take a walk and get my body warmed up after that cold sit. But it was a perfect end of the 2018 deer season. Hey folks, this hunt here, it came out of Cameron, West Virginia. I was hunting with my buddy Sean Lamb on the first day of the rifle season, and every year we sit together and I go first one year, the next year he goes first, then I go first, he goes first, and we've been lucky down there. So this year it was his turn to go first, and it was a long, cold, rainy day. I had the flu and I was feeling like crap, but we stuck it out to the last minute, and we were sitting there at the end of the day, and a couple deer came out at the bottom by the fence, and I said, hey Sean, there's a couple deer, and we were watching them, glassing, looking all around, and there was just a couple small does, and a big doe come out, and out of nowhere, big deer ran up into the brush. He said, was that one of the does? I said, I don't know. So I grabbed my binoculars, and well, it turned out to be a buck, so see what happens. Waited out to the last minute.
Yeah, buddy.
West Virginia 2018. Well, as you see there, the deer that ended up running up out of the brush, it ended up being a buck. And it was a nice little 7-pointer. And as you could see, it was cold, it was rainy. I was ready to get out of there, but we still had about 10 minutes left. And Sean made a real good shot, dropped it in its tracks, and I'm sure glad he shot it where he shot it, because me having the flu, I was ready to get home. And we usually shoot deer hillside to hillside, and we're shooting 300-400 yards across the hill. Well, he ended up getting his on our side of the hill. It's only about a 100-yard shot, and we just drug it right back down in the truck, and it was no big deal to get out of there. But it was a perfect end of the day. Great first day of the 2018-19 West Virginia deer season. Good job, Sean.